It felt like he was really able to get on the move. Something we saw a lot from guys like Bo and Dylan, because none of these guys, I think we talked about this after the game, are like real rushing threats. Dante said he's like, hey, I'm not the fastest guy. I understand that. But he kind of has that now, where he's able to pick up his head and realize like everybody's back is turned, and he's able to go get 10 yards. He's able to go get, I think it was 21 on that one where it felt like he could have gotten 30.
28.
Yeah. 28. And Sadiq didn't pick up that block. That was what excited me, because it's just a different element to his game. That's something that Penn State will have to account for. And he did a little bit in these past games, so we got worried because he was putting himself in harm's way so much. But it really felt like he scrambled with a purpose in this game. The last times it was just, oh man, the pocket's collapsing, let me go.
Yeah, he's not necessarily a rushing threat in the way that some of these other quarterbacks around the country, obviously he's not a Tommy Castellanos at Florida State, obviously, where he is a big part of their running game, and they're not really using him. They've ran a couple, QB draws. They ran him on like a counter play earlier this season. They've done a couple of those QB runs, but even less so than what they were doing. I think Bo Nix was the best running threat out of Dan's quarterbacks, but they're even doing more. They did more so with Dylan in terms of the run game than Dante has done early this season. But like you said, just the scrambles, a lot of those yards came off scrambles. He scrambled for a couple of first downs, and just being able to pick up those 4 or 5 yards on a scramble. You're going to make that second or third down easier, even if you're not able to pick up that first down. And it's also not a negative play for the offense, because you're not putting the ball in danger and potentially throwing an interception, or even just throwing it in incompletion where you're going to get no yards at all. So like Dante said, it kind of offers another threat to the defense, where it's something else they got to worry about as well. They can't just sit back and know that he's going to pass. I mean, he is a drop back passer. That's his main skill set. But when they give him a look, because these teams are going to start getting worried about his explosive passing down the field, because we've seen it over these last couple of weeks, that he can take those easy yards underneath. And that's something that quarterbacks, you really in this modern game, have to be able to threaten. And it's something that you saw like when CJ Stroud was a QB prospect coming out of Ohio State a couple of years ago. People were really doubtful of him, initially in that kind of scouting process, of his ability to, be a guy who moves and can scramble around a little bit. And then he comes out in that Georgia game and he's throwing it all over the place against Georgia. They end up losing it on a missed field goal, but he's throwing the ball all over the place against Georgia. He's forced into these scramble situations because Georgia's defensive front is so good. And I thought we saw some of that from Dante in this game. Not necessarily that Oregon State defensive front was so good that it forced him into these situations, but he was just making those smart reads and tucking and running when he had to.
Yeah, and this kid has no fear. Like he's gonna go try to get the hard yards, which is something. I mean, it's something you love to see in your quarterbacks, right? He's shown that if the first down is a yard away, he's gonna put his head in there and try to get the yards.
And I think it was important just for him to show, hey, I can't have a game where I have 50 yards on the ground scrambling. And it was more than that because he took a 9-yard sack too. So it was really almost 60 scramble yards for him in that game. Now, that's something that Penn State has to think about this weekend. That not necessarily are they going to spy or contain Dante Moore in a way you would with some of these other running quarterbacks.